You want the government to get in there handling the gas? Come on. We don't want that. Whew, unbelievable. Anyway, a couple of things I want to talk about and try to move on. I got so much I could talk about and stuff, but anyway, I don't know quite where to start. Let's go to one of the, my first concert that I went to was back in 1970. And it was Iron Butterfly. I saw some local bands before that, Greater Experience, stuff like that here in Lynchburg. The first big-time band I went to see was Iron Butterfly over at Lynchburg College at the Turner Gymnasium. The tickets were an outrageous like $7 a piece to see this national band. And, Iron Butterfly, their big, one of their big hits was Inagana de Vida. And this song was 17 minutes and 5 seconds long. It took up the whole side of the album, the whole side. And that's was my first experience with Mosrite guitars. Can you get a close-up of that, Phil? And there it is. You see the giant plasma thing behind here, and of course Iron Butterfly and Inagana de Vida. Now what you can't see here is Eric Braun right here. This is a kid 17 years old. He's playing a Mosrite guitar. And Lee Dorm right here, the bass player, he's playing a Mosrite bass there. And Eric Braun's 17 years old, and here he's in a great band like this. Now, Eric wasn't with the band at that time. At the time, this was the album that was out. It's Iron Butterfly Metamorphosis, and it had El Rhino and Mike Paneria in it. And look, it's got colorful nudity on the back. Okay, Phil. So I didn't get to see Eric Braun. Eric Braun just died. He's only like 52 years old, and he died several years ago. He's a couple years, I guess he's about my age. I think I was a year or two younger than him or something. He was only 52 when he died. But that was my first experience with Mosrite guitars, the guitars they played. Now, I've got a guitar over here. This is a Mosrite guitar here. Right here. This one's a 1988 model. I noticed back in the late 80s, back in 88, January of 88, there was an ad in one of the guitar magazines for Mosrite guitars. And it used to say Mosrite of California. And Simi Mosley, he's a pioneer with the Mosrite guitars, been around for a long time, since the early 50s. Worked at Rickenbacker in the early 50s. Reverend Boatwright went and got a bandsaw for him so he could start building guitars. This kid could start building guitars. He named the company Mosrite after Simi Mosley and Reverend Boatwright. And he started building guitars all through the 50s. This guy was innovative. He's right there with Leo Fender and the Gibson company, Les Paul. With Gibson, they're putting out solid body electric guitars. He worked for Paul Bixby, who was one of the first solid body electric guitar builders. Guitars had been hollow before that, and they really didn't have pickups on them, so you could plug them into an amplifier. And Simi is a big deal. I mean, Iron Butterfly played them. Strawberry Alarm Clock had some really cool Mosrites that were kind of oval shape and then had the neck running up the middle. They had them at the Smithsonian Institution on a display. And I went down there and I got this picture. This is a great picture. It says, signed this picture to a great lady, Ruthie. Signed it to my mom. But the ad was in the book there, and it says it there in Jonas Ridge, North Carolina. There, get a good picture of that. It sent me back in 1988. All right, Phil. And I decided, well, Jonas Ridge, it's not too far from here. It's in North Carolina. I don't know exactly how far away it is. And I don't know why. I mean, it's so interesting looking at that camera. And I'm not, the lens isn't even pointing at me. I just like the way the camera looks, I guess. But I called in there to Mosrite, and the guy answers the phone. Mosrite International. I said, who's speaking? Simi. Who else you expect to be speaking? Who else you expect to be speaking? Simi Mosley. It's like, my gosh, I can't believe this. This is the man himself. He's answering the phone. Doesn't he have secretaries or anything? Yes. He had a great secretary. But she wasn't there at that time. And we started talking. I said, I'm a big fan of Mosrite guitars. I've always thought they were cool. I've always thought they were like the coolest looking guitar out there. One of the coolest looking guitars out there. And he said, well, you might want one of my Model 88s. That's what this is. He said, if you order it now, since this was February of 1988, that, that you could get a low serial number. I said, well, how much is it? He said, well, I'll sell you one for $850. I didn't know if that was a good price or not. Come to find out later, they were $1,600. That was a dealer price, basically. Case was $150. I said, well, can I send you some money down every couple of weeks until it's paid for? He said, yeah, that'd be fine. So I sent money down every couple of weeks, and finally got down to where I didn't owe but about $100 on the guitar, and it was June of 1988. So I said, how about I'll come down and pick up the guitar? And I did. I rode down there. A girlfriend and I rode down there to North Carolina. We actually went to see David Lee Roth and Cinderella, or Poison. Poison was opening for David Lee Roth at the Greensboro Coliseum. So we went down there and saw them, stayed, and then we went over Jonas Ridge, which is on the Blue Ridge Parkway over near Asheville, a little north of Morganton. And I went over there and I got to spend the whole afternoon with Simi Mosley. What a great guy. What a wonderful Christian man this guy is. And got a real Mosrite. Got a little bit of a video here I want to show you. These are pictures taken with a Polaroid camera 20 years ago, this June the 10th. So this is coming up. Just watch this right here. Some photos from my trip to the Mosrite factory in Jonas Ridge, North Carolina, June the 10th, 1988. I didn't realize I was going to be reading that right away. That's a black and white picture of this guitar. The very first time I saw it, he said, here, I got the guitar. Let me open the case. I want to see your face when you see it, the guitar for the first time. And I said, that's great. Let's see it. And he had the case there, and he opens it up, and there's my guitar. It's a beautiful gold color. It's diamondized, which is very metallic. He called it diamondized. And it's shaded where you can see the wood grain. There's a picture of Simi holding the guitar. These are terrible pictures, by the way, because they were just a Polaroid Instamatic camera. There's Simi with that. He always knew how to strike a pose and smile for the camera. There's me holding my guitar, and this is 20 years ago. I look a tad bit younger then. I was only about 34 years old. And there he's working on my red Mosrite 12 string, and he autographed a pickguard on it. I don't remember her name. She was one of the ladies that worked there, and then there's the lady up in the office that I normally talk to on the phone, Louise. I didn't get a picture of her. There he is with my guitar before he signed the pickguard, and that's what it looked like after he signed the pickguard. He was in there buffing on this guitar and everything, and the phone kept ringing. He said, here, you do this. There's no need for you stand there doing nothing. So I was buffing my guitar on his buffing wheel at the Mosrite factory. It was in an old school building in Jonas Ridge. That's the 26th guitar he made in North Carolina, about 84 or so. That white one in the front's beautiful. It was beautiful. That's the metallic pink 3-pickup double axe Mosrite. And there's Simi holding that beautiful guitar. He wouldn't sell that guitar, but we had a special relationship, and he offered me that guitar for $2,000, and there it is. Simi said you could have the pink double axe for $2,000, and you could pay in a case for $75, and you could pay for it over several months. I never did get the guitar because I couldn't come up with $2,000 in 3 months. It was just too much money back then. That's it, Phil. That's the D-Day thing's going to start now. But it was so cool to go down there and meet this guitar building legend all these years. And then we're going to have the other video, right? Okay. It's so hard to do without a clock, but it's my fault I didn't bring a clock. But I wanted to share that with you. 20 years ago, I got to go down there and meet a wonderful man, Simi Mosley, and had so much more I wanted to talk about. But we've run out of time. D-Day is coming up. That was back at the end of World War II. And I've got a little clip here. These pictures are all photographs that I took up at the D-Day Memorial. And the voice is President Roosevelt. I'll see y'all next week. Thanks a lot. All right, Phil, let her rip.
I knew at that moment that troops of the United States and our allies were crossing the Channel in another and greater operation. It has come to pass with success thus far. And so, in this poignant hour, I ask you to join with me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, and to set free a suffering humanity.